All right. So I should be. Just started it.
Usually like a delay. Last time we placed like a 2-minute delay.
Looks like I'm on.
This is the setup here, man. We upgraded. Jeez. He's trying to write out
Kind of write them down before we go on.
I thought maybe you were on your phone watching Northwest.
No, they don't play till 6:30 now. I mean, we'll be. I mean, I'm able to. I feel like I'm going to record it and go home and watch it. I mean, that's because we'll still. I hope still going at that point. I hope you're right. Yeah. And between
Wall for use in 5 different IESA state tournament series, from the very first competition in the regionals all the way through the state tournament. IESA is proud to announce that the official ball used in the boys baseball tournament series has been manufactured by Rawlings Sporting Goods Company of St. Louis. When kids from Illinois play their games, they make the outcome official with
I can
Rawlings.
still hear everything you're saying.
We just can't have those really dramatic eye-to-eye conversations.
I think we'll be okay. Hey, sometimes now, look at modern broadcasting, we're not even in the same place.
No.
I mean, at all. Which I find bizarre, but it's...
It's not showing up to me. I'm only getting the game last night, but if there's people viewing it, then it's got to be live. It might not. Our devices might not. You don't believe that?
No. I think if other people are figuring it out.
Oh, here you go. Go live.
Oh, there you go. Let me find it so I can tweet it before we...
You may send you the link around?
Yeah, that'd be tremendous.
Have audio.
Welcome to Eastside Center in today's 3A semifinal baseball game between the Summit Hill Spartans and the Morton Potters. Let's meet the starting lineups and coaches from both teams. First for the visiting Spartans. Leading off in pitching, number 21, Corey Less. Batting second, playing center field, number 11, Matt Safarik. Batting third, playing third base, number 23, John Strakowski. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 18, Mason Meskimen. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 16, Jordan Everett. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 4, Ryan Pearson. Batting seventh, catching, number 19, Sean Tadovich. Batting eighth, number 6, the second baseman, Lucas Garcia. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 8, Landon Heeman. The Spartans are coached by Fred Pewball. And now let's meet the starters for the Morton Potters. Leading off, the center fielder, number 22, Isaac Benders. Batting second, playing right field, number 24, Andy Ballard. Batting third and pitching, number 20, Colin Burns. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 25, Cameron Crawford. Batting fifth, playing shortstop, number 7, Owen Adams. Batting sixth, the DH, number 8, Camden Taylor. Playing left field, number 21, Gil Pashard. Batting seventh, catching, number 3, Sammy Here. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 40, Alex McKee. And playing second base, number 18, Beck Powers. The Potters are coached by Jesse Crawford. Let's meet the umpires for today's semifinal game. At home plate, Adam Holman, and at first base, Mike Wise. Today's umpire-in-chief is Bob Proctor. Good luck to both teams.
We can get this audio whenever you want.
All right. I'm going to bring you guys in.
Oh, look at Willis. Adam. Good? You guys doing? Good.
All right. Hello and welcome, baseball fans, to the IESA State Semifinal matchup between the Morton Junior Potters and the Summit Hill Spartans out of Frankfort. Ryan Lindley here with you, joined by Coach Eric Myers. Colin Burns completing his final warm-up tosses for the Junior Potters. Coach Myers, you were here last night for the quarterfinal, called the Potters' big 11-0 win against Kingsley with Craig Wright. Just kind of take us back. What did you notice last night, and what do you see translating as a key to victory this afternoon?
100%. Yeah, last night the Potters were 1,000,000% locked in behind Cam Crawford on the mound. You know, double-digit strikeouts, only giving up one walk, one hit as well last night. The big thing for me that stuck out for the Potters was 2-out hits. In the first inning, we scored 2. We talked a lot about last night where Kingsley chose to be the visiting team, allowing us. We got 2-out hits in the first and second inning, giving us 6 runs as Colin Burns is going to throw that first pitch.
Corey Less grounds it to Owen Adams at short. Adams up with it across the diamond. Cam Crawford with the stretch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Colin Burns. You got to like the efficiency to start it off if you're a Potters fan.
Yeah, big stretch by Cam there too, keeping the foot on the bag, showing his limberness right there. But going back to last night, just a really efficient game with no mistakes by the Potters, which allowed them to jump up and hit the ball really good. Find Isaac Bender's 2-run home run.
So Matt Safarik at the plate for the Spartans. He'll take a strike there. Potters, one of the keys, I think, to victory here is, and this is probably stating the obvious because it's probably true of any baseball game, but is starting pitching. And the Potters are so deep on the mound as Burns will throw the 0-1 and get strike 2 there as Safarik chases a curveball. But you talk about Cam being dominant last night, and now Colin Burns, another frontline arm, goes to the mound today for the Potters.
Yeah, I mean, Potters have this unique advantage of having probably 7 or 8 frontline pitchers compared to other teams maybe going to have 1 or 2.
Burns gets that one by Safarik. That'll be his first strikeout of the game.
So Collins, been all season our number 2, and then you still have Owen Adams in the tank there. You got Alex McKee, you got Isaac Benders, you got Sammy Here, you got Andy Ballard. I mean, the Potters are deep when it comes to pitching.
Here's Stokowski. He'll come to the plate. He is the third baseman for the Summit Hill Spartans, but I think you make a great point. And I was talking to assistant coach Brandon Parrott before the game, and he said, if Coach Crawford could have it his way, he'd probably just use 3 pitchers for these 3 games and go Cam, Colin, and Owen, as that one is fouled back toward, I believe is it the 2A game behind us?
I think so. Roanoke Benson's playing right now, so whatever A they are, it's hard to tell. You got that fancy.
I do have the fancy program here, but it is one of the nice things about Eastside Center is there's a lot of baseball around us. They can play all 3 levels of the IESA State Tournament at once. That'll be strike 3. Colin Burns paints the corner. So first inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left for the Spartans. But anyway, yeah, Coach Myers, just real quick, just talk about this setup at Eastside with all 3 levels of state play going on at once. Tons of fans, really just like a mecca of junior high baseball.
100%. So as we know, Eastside Center was built, to host almost like the mecca of baseball and softball. Not to mention at one time it had a water park. It houses the wonderful East Peoria Raiders football field, the varsity field out in this fourplex is the only one not being utilized currently, but we have the 1A, 2A, and 3A all be playing at the same time at concurrence, which makes it for a great atmosphere if you're a ball player, right? Because you have all the crowds and all the noise and people here. It's not just, you're watching one little game here and there. All three, all day long, all day Saturday. And, hopefully we do have a little bit of rain in the area here, but hopefully it's holding off, at least the heavy stuff. Last night we did get drilled on, had to end our Potter broadcast just a little bit early, but the Potters were able to wrap that up with an 11-0 victory in 5.
By the way, it is 1A behind us. I double-checked in the scorebook. Roanoke Benson is in the 1A state tournament. So Roanoke Benson's, by the way, Potter assistant coach Steve Bates, his sons played at Roanoke Benson, won a high school state title, and also on that team was the father, look at this transition, was the father of the Potters leadoff hitter, Isaac Benders, his dad Josh, on that state championship team with Coach Bates' son. 1994 or 5, I have to look that up.
I don't know either. High school?
High school state championship.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So for the Potters, Isaac Benders will lead off. He's the center fielder. Let's go through the lineup. Isaac Benders will lead off. He's in center field. Andy Ballard bats second. He's in right. Colin Burns on the mound is the number 3 hitter. Cam Crawford in the cleanup spot, hitting fourth and playing first base. Owen Adams bats fifth. He's the shortstop. Camden Taylor is the DH. He is hitting in the 6th spot. Sammy Hare, the catcher today, bats 7th. Alex McKee at third base, 8th. And Ben Powers, second baseman, batting 9th. Bill Pochard also in the lineup for the Potters. He's playing left field. He's the player that Camden Taylor is DHing for. So here comes Isaac to the plate.
Bender's been seeing the ball really, really well. Last night launched one over the left field fence. Probably would have one-hopped that 320 sign out there. Just crushed the ball in his second at bat.
Corey Less on the mound. He'll wind and deliver, and that one is up high for a ball.
Yeah, obviously the Potters definitely have the advantage here. 1 through 9 hitters are locked and loaded. That was the one thing last night is we didn't make a lot of mistakes in the field nor at bat. We took every opportunity we could.
Les winds and delivers, and that one he gets by Benders, 1-1. He's been up with both pitches, though. It's been interesting. I mean, he's a no wind-up guy, right? Always pitches from the stretch. Looks like a big, strong kid. You wonder if he's not pitching, I'm guessing maybe like a third baseman, shortstop type.
Yeah, either that or first base.
A little off speed there, gets Isaac swing over the top of it, 1-2.
Yeah, change speed really well right there. Took a little bit off of it. Very similar arm motion, so for Benders it looked like it was probably looking about the same as that fastball I saw.
Les holds long, and now will deliver the 1-2 and gets Benders to swing at the curveball in the dirt. Strikeout to start the day for Corey Les. So we've had 4 hitters in this game. 3 of them have gone down on strikes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously got a little nerves, right? I'm assuming at this point. I think last night pressure was kind of there, but not really there. Here it's like, you win. You're going to that championship game. So it's all on. It's win or nothing.
Here is Andy Ballard. He'll come to the plate and swing and miss at that one. Ballard, as we said earlier, in right field for the Potters today. Tremendous speed. I mean, he's a guy, if he gets on base, you have to believe Coach Crawford will do something in the running game.
Yeah, last night they kept him pretty well in check there. He got on base a couple times, but he's able to scoot around the bases when the Potters do move the ball.
Ballard swings and misses there. Les going off speed. We mentioned, I mean, strong guy, right? It definitely looks like he can throw the heat, but he's really relying on the off-speed pitches so far this afternoon.
Yeah. I think that's what you got to do, though, right? The scouting report is Potters are going to hit the fastball out of the park.
Here's the 0-2. There's a fastball. Strike 3, kind of snuck it by him, right? Kind of the old classic pitch backwards. Go curveball, curveball, fastball, where most people think you're going to go fastball, fastball, curveball.
Yep, and now the Potters, burned 2 outs here in the first inning. 2 strikeouts, bringing up the 3-hitter pitcher, Colin Burns.
Colin had a home run in the sectional final. Big Potter win against Dunlap Valley. He'll take ball 1 here. One of the things that I think is unique about this Potters team, though, is the home run power they have at the junior high level. That's usually not really that much of a facet of the game, but it's absolutely one for the Potters.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just about everybody on the team can hit it out in any given pitch on any given day, which is definitely something that's very unique.
The regional final against Eureka, I believe the Potters had 3 home runs in the regional final.
And I think a lot of that, though, had to do with the fact that the field they were playing on is, not much bigger than a T-ball field.
Yeah, Eureka Middle School field is a tad on the small side. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of balls that would have been an easy pop fly out ended up in the parking lot. So, not taken away from it, right?
No.
A home run is a home run.
I mean, play on the field you're on. This field has some interesting features we'll talk about here in a moment as Burns will take a strike there.
Yep.
probably the most interesting feature here is the collapsible fence, which does shorten the home run distance, but in the past has led to some controversy when the ball is right at the fence.
Yeah, we've actually had it.
Burns grounds that one toward third base, up with it, throw is high. Colin is going to go to second base, and he will cruise in there. Potters will have a runner on second with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Very similar to what happened yesterday as well, where making the wrong decisions, making mistakes with 2 outs has allowed the Potters to get extra bases right there, and they made them pay. Last night, interesting fact, though, Kingsley chose to intentional walk Cam Crawford in this situation, putting him on, not even throwing to him in the first 2 at-bats.
Runner at second base, number 15, Isaac Davis.
I wonder if part of that may be Kingsley's more familiarity with the Potters, right? I mean, obviously, at this point, you know everybody's good, and you know your cleanup hitter has to be one of the best players, but they don't know Cam quite the way that Kingsley probably did.
Yeah, they didn't want to pitch to him. It was pretty evident. You know, they threw him a lot of curveballs. I mean, give them credit, though. They eventually pitched to him, and they got him out. But first 2 at-bats, first base was open, and they automatically put him on. Similar situation.
Cam will take ball 1 from Les here. Isaac Davis is a courtesy runner for the catcher Burns. There's a ground ball to short. Backhand play across the diamond, and Crawford is retired. So in the bottom of the first inning, the Potters do not score. There were no hits, there was an error, and there was 1 man left. So through an inning of play, no score.
Yeah, I mean, you had an opportunity there to make him pay just a little bit there on the error overthrow error where Collins was able to get to second base, but not quite enough to make it really, really detrimental.
Let's talk about the weather, because unfortunately it's the elephant in the room here, and you may even hear on our ambient mic that we're getting some rain coming in. So, Coach Myers, what does this type of weather, I mean, assuming we continue to play in it, obviously we could end up with a rain delay, but if we're playing in this rain, how does that impact the game?
I think it's going to be huge, right? Pitching is going to be the most hardest thing, right? Every time you pick up that ball, it's going to be wet, muddy. Outfield's going to be brutal at this point. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Eastside Center, kind of in the outfield, it's obviously auto water, but it's a little bit mushy already from some of the rain last time in the sprinkler system, trying to keep the grass green for this IESA state final series, because it hasn't rained here in Central Illinois in, well, a long time. So it was a little mushy yesterday. I can only imagine with this rain coming down right now, that ball's going to be super hard, and trying to dive for balls and getting your footing out there is going to be even more considerate.
So here we are. We're going to the top of the second. Colin Burns wisely will exchange baseballs here after the warm-up throw from his catcher, Sammy Hare, went into short center field, just like Coach Myers was saying. There's some wet weather there.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of those tough ones where we want to make sure that everything is...
Well, now we're going to get the umpires are going to have I think we're going to have a quick discussion. I wasn't sure the home plate umpire was necessarily calling this, but as soon as everybody saw him motion to Mike Wise, the first base umpire, who I believe is the crew chief, everybody just kind of assumed, I think, well, we're going to take a short break. And that probably is wise, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, because if we look kind of to our south and east, it looks like it's going to rain.
So what we're going to have a little rain delay feeder here. Well, but right now what we're doing is we are moving our equipment to make sure it's under our tent, so we don't have any issues with this rain. Also moving my scorebook, because that's where my rosters are. And if we restart this thing, and I want to be able to know who's who. But obviously rain coming in, and this is an interesting one, right? Because, of course, Daniel Stuckey, one of our loyal viewers, always watches the Potters in the postseason. Former Potter outfielder, moved down to Florida. But, of course, he reminded me, the head of Eastside Center's grounds crew is Potters varsity assistant coach Doug McCarty. Do you think, Coach McCarty could just find a way to turn off the sprinkler here and stop this rain?
Yeah, we're looking at the radar right now. It looks like we're going to be potentially in some rain for a while.
What's interesting to me is it looks like the 1A game is still going on.
Maybe they're tougher than us. I don't know. Or at least their umpires are.
Well, now the umpire in the 1A game is pointing to our field as if to say, if they stopped, we should stop. So peer pressure at work for umpires here at Eastside Center.
Yeah, this isn't a good sign already. I mean, if you look at the diamond right behind you, it is already starting to show signs of cooling water.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you mentioned Eastside was built for this type of thing, to host this type of postseason tournaments, etc. Obviously, that means it's got a solid drainage system, But when you start to get the really heavy rains, it really doesn't matter how solid your drainage system is.
Yeah, and when it's really quick, like that as well, push.
We're trying to rearrange our tent here to make sure that we are secure. Again, we have some camera equipment. We do not want that to get
Hey,
into.
see you guys. What, is it streaming live? Right?
Yeah, on YouTube.
How do you see it on YouTube?
Yeah, Potters Baseball.
Potters Baseball.
So I word Potters Baseball, and then it's just all right there.
Well, hopefully we get started again.
Well, I think we'll be able to. Do you guys have any social media of any kind?
So Coach Meyer's talking to the fans behind us, obviously some fans from Summit Hill, and they are obviously interested in picking up the live stream. Again, we welcome viewers from everywhere and would, of course, appreciate viewers from Summit Hill to join us. We hope we have all the games, and not just an inning plus of this game. We hope we have the Potters in the title game or the third place game. But again, fans from Summit Hill, if they wanted to join us, we're certainly happy to bring them on. And of course, the winner of the previous game was Homer Glen Homer, and they are already sitting pretty, looking to see who they're going to play in the state finals. But again, this rain can definitely kind of play a role, not just in terms of, obviously, you start to think, does that impact whether or not the game's going to be played today, or what's going to be the quality when we get back on the field. But one scenario I hope not to have to deal with is what happens if this game is delayed another day or two, and suddenly the Potters' great advantage of people pitching isn't as big of a deal. These teams can bring back their number one start.
100%. That's something we were talking a little bit last night about. That's something me and Coach Wright were talking a little bit last night with too. Always going, thinking about the biggest thing possible. When Cam was out there pitching, worst case scenario today did get rained out. Depending on the number of pitches you throw, how much can it come back from that? So.
We're getting an announcement from our PA announcer, and I don't know, folks, if you can hear that. He is saying it's at least 30 minutes until we resume action here.
So we're going to probably just go ahead and shut down our screen and try to cover up some of our equipment so that it can be protected because obviously everything is electronics, and it is raining super hard, and we now have a lake on our field.
So, folks, again, we're going to take a short break, well, maybe a longer break, at least a 30-minute break. We're going to go with that because that's what the announcer just told us, that it's at least a 30-minute break until this game resumes. So keep your eye on @Potters Baseball on Twitter for updates. We hope to be back with you for more baseball later, but again, as you look at the field, you can obviously see the rain is coming down pretty hard. So we'll be back with you hopefully in about 30 minutes. For now, folks, thanks for tuning in. It's 0-0 in the top of the second inning, Potters and the Spartans of Summit Hill.